And the fear is that there are going to be a lot more who are found. Firefighters have only searched about 35 to 40% of the building because it is so unstable. They are moving very, very slowly. They're using shovels and buckets to sift through the remains of this building, looking for human remains. They don't know how many people were inside the building at the time. There was no manifest like you'd find on an airplane. This was an illegal warehouse that was set up as a living space and as a party space, and they don't know how many people were inside. So they are taking it slow right now. They say that there are areas where different levels have collapsed onto other areas, and there are pianos and appliances dangling from up above, ready to fall. They're trying to secure all of that. They've got plywood out. They're trying to shore up the walls so that they can go in and continue searching inside this building.
Have the survivors described the scene inside?
Yeah, those who lived in the building have talked about it, and those who were in the building at some point on Friday. There are a few folks that happened to be near an exit and got out immediately, but not a lot of people got out. There were no injuries in this because firefighters say if you were inside, you died, unless you happened to be right by the door and were able to get out real quickly. There were only 2 exits, and immediately the fire just took off in this labyrinth that had been set up inside, built out of cardboard and wood and other things, and it moved so fast and got so smoky, and the power went out, the power that they were stealing with extension cords and using generators. The power went out incredibly quickly, I mean, within seconds of the fire starting, and nobody could find their way out. Those who had been in there beforehand, they say just this maze of rooms and little cubby areas and hard to find your way around. That's what firefighters are dealing with right now. Couches everywhere. This was an artist collective, as it was called, but this warehouse wasn't supposed to be anything but a warehouse. Apparently people were living in it, they were partying in it, but all of that was not what this area was zoned for, not what the warehouse was zoned for.
Aaron, did the building's owner, weren't they looking into him or her because of issues with trash and debris outside of the building?
Well, we don't know how much they had been looking into her. The owner had been contacted. There had been complaints about the building over and over again. Neighbors say that everybody knew about this building. Everybody knew people were living in it. An inspector came out in the mid section of November, couldn't get inside and wasn't able to go in and inspect it, and they were going to follow up. But this was a known problem spot in this area that police were constantly responding to, that people were always making complaints about. But the owner claims that she didn't know what was going on, that somebody rented out the warehouse, and that she really didn't have any interaction with them. The focus now turning toward the operator of this. This was called the Ghost Ship, as it was known. Now the operator of the Ghost Ship could potentially be looking at criminal charges. A criminal investigation was launched yesterday. We just met up with, at least our crews from KGO-TV, our local affiliate here, just found him. Derek Ion is his name, and all he'll say is that these were his children, that these were beautiful people, and that he has nothing else to say. But he could potentially be in trouble.
How large a building was this?
It's a large warehouse. I don't know the square footage on it, but it's a large warehouse. There is a firehouse right across the street from it. Shows you how quickly the fire spread. They're on the backside, so to get an engine in, you'd have to go around the street, around the corner. But they were on scene in less than 2 minutes, and the entire building was already fully engulfed in flames.
Wow. Alex Stone joining us from ABC News, telling us about the fire in Oakland at the warehouse. Thank you very much, Alex. We look forward to updates on the story.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
You hear about those artist lofts, and, I was reading some of the news, some of the articles, and housing is just exorbitant in California, and I think that a lot of those people were living there because they just couldn't afford to live living there illegally because they couldn't afford to live other places.
It's in Oakland. I haven't spent much time in Oakland. It's right across the bay from San Francisco, and over the past 2 years I've been to San Francisco a lot and staying kind of down off a Mission. And the homeless population in San Francisco is huge.
Oh, it is.
It is huge. It is everywhere. And, the whole issue of homelessness, what we do with homeless people. And, we hear stories even here locally where people get very upset. The city or the authorities will come through and move out a homeless population or a homeless encampment, and we think that is, mean, and what are we going to do with them? But something like this kind of, reinforces the idea that there are safety issues, and these old buildings are not meant to be lived in. Now, it beats the heck out of living on the street when it's 30 degrees and that wind's blowing, but that small fire all of a sudden becomes a raging fire, and lives are lost. Just sad.
And some of the people who died in this fire, they were teens. Ages range from like teen up to 30 years old.
Right. These were not necessarily the homeless as we're talking about,
right.
But it is the options for people in some of these cities are limited. Where are they going to live? Just a tragedy. Absolutely.